Hi Footy fans, this is Professor Footy with the most in-depth football chat and analysis anywhere. Today's topic is going to be a review of England's World Cup. A couple of weeks on, I've had time to reflect and digest objectively, and my main point is that England's advancement to the semi-final stage of the tournament isn't actually reflective of their progress as a team. England aren't one of the best four teams in the world, and it's no secret that they benefited hugely from the most open and some would say the luckiest draw in recent World Cup memory. So the two key areas that I'd like to pick up on for England's team are the possession and the mentality. So let's deal with the possession first. In my lifetime, the England team have been criticised, almost laughed at, for their inability to keep the ball under pressure in tight areas. Now thankfully with Southgate we've gotten rid of the dinosaur 4-4-2 formation, brought in the extra man in midfield, and it is true that our possession has improved. Unfortunately for England, that possession is still in the wrong areas. It's in non-dangerous areas. And by that I mean most of it takes place at the back. Walker, Maguire and Stones regularly see lots of the ball, and our only tactic really was to feed it out to the wing backs, and they were clipping balls into channels. This tactic worked against the lesser teams, but really it's quite an amateurish tactic, one that you see in the lower leagues of domestic football, because teams that haven't got that quality, where they don't trust their central midfielders to play in tight spots under pressure. What annoys me about the England team is that we've got two midfielders who can receive the ball in tight areas with a man up their back on the half turn. But we left them both at home, Jack Wilshere and Adam Lallana. Now, it's true they both did have fitness concerns, and some people would argue they shouldn't be in the team, but at least one of them would have been ideal to bring on against Croatia, especially Wilshere, and allow us to retain the ball higher up the pitch and dominate possession in the areas that really matter, not at the back, like we did. Croatia had just one such player, Luka Modric, completely ran the game, and we saw the benefit of somebody that's prepared to be brave on the ball and allow you to retain possession higher up the pitch. Now what happens when you don't keep the ball is that you're just chasing it, you're doing shuttle runs, and you get tired. And we saw with Croatia's first goal, their equaliser, Dele Alli couldn't get out to close the cross because he'd just been made to do shuttles for 30 or 40 minutes and he was too tired. That's a direct result of England's inability to keep the ball. So the possession, or the lack of possession, ultimately cost us. My next point is the mentality of the England team. Now, a semi-final performance has been absolutely lauded by the English press, but in Germany or Brazil, this would be seen as a huge failure. There'd be an inquisition as to why the teams had performed so badly. And this is what really annoys me about the mentality of the English media. We like to invoke the Dunkirk spirit, call ourselves brave losers, proud losers who valiantly gave it a go. And that just shouldn't be the mentality if you're aiming to win these tournaments. And it certainly isn't the mentality of the bigger teams. Let's remember, Croatia were ranked 20th in the world, and we simply didn't believe that we could go out there, match them man for man, play high up the pitch and dominate the ball and win the game effectively. Instead, we snatched a goal early on from a set piece, clung on to what we had, dropped deeper and deeper and defended the edge of our box and succumbed to two late goals. And that's exactly what happens when a small team plays against a big team. And to highlight this point, I'd like to use an analogy. In the FA Cup in England, we regularly see giants of the game like Manchester United drawn against much smaller teams, let's say Exeter City. Sorry, Exeter fans. Now in this analogy, Croatia are Manchester United and England are Exeter City. Invariably in these cup games, the small team will come out, give it a good go for 20 minutes, snatch a goal from a set piece, just like England did, but then they can't retain possession, they'll get tired, fall back and drop on the edge of their own box, just like England did, and they'll succumb to two late goals. Now the next day in the national media, Exeter would be painted as valiant losers, people who gave it a real good go, but weren't quite good enough. And that's exactly the response from the mainstream media that the England team have gotten. Now this shouldn't be the case. This is clearly a small team mentality. We didn't have enough confidence to go out and play man for man high up the pitch, and this mentality needs to change if we're going to compete and try and win these big tournaments. So to wrap up, Yes, England did very well at the World Cup. Southgate is clearly the man for the job, but we still don't keep the ball in areas that really matter high enough up the pitch, and we still don't have that tough, strong team mentality that's required to win these tournaments. So the progress to the semis was great. Everybody has re-engaged with the England team, but let's not fool ourselves. We aren't one of the best 4 teams in the world, and our tactics were easily snuffed out against the better sides. My next video will follow on from this. It will be about the death of the central midfielder. So if you're interested in that debate, please stay tuned for my next video. And if you enjoyed this one, please hit like, subscribe, comments below. If you'd like to come and engage with me on anything about football, come and have a go if you think you're smart enough.